Welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Jay and I am really stoked about this recipe today. Can you see this? Pad Krapow. Krapao! And Pad Krapow means, pad meaning stir fry and Krapao meaning holy basil. Holy basil.
So what country are we in today?
So we're in Thailand today and we're diving in. We've done a couple of basic recipes. We've done some asparagus, we've done a bechamel, and today we're diving right in with actually a recipe that I only learnt a couple of months ago myself, and I'll get onto the reason why in a moment. But I've learnt this a couple of months ago and it's become one of my favourites. And we're going to learn how to make Pad Krapow today, right now, and we're going to start.
Okay.
You ready? So anyway, before we start, let's get on with some of the ingredients. Now, Pad Krapow can be made with beef, chicken or pork. I prefer pork. I prefer minced pork just because I like the flavour.
It's tastier.
It's tastier. Beef, not so much. Chicken is okay, it's a little bit bland. But with the addition of all the other ingredients, it shouldn't turn out to be. But pork is my favourite. So let's go over some of the ingredients that we got to cook the dish today.
Okay.
We've got some banana shallots. Normal shallots will do, but I use banana shallots because they're easier to chop. We're going to use 2 or 3 banana shallots. I've got some minced garlic. There's 2 cloves in there, and there's some medium heat chilies. Now, you don't want to use bird's eye chili because you're going to burn the back of your throat off. These are just regular medium heat chilies. We've got some scallions, what am I talking about, scallions? We've got some spring onions, and we've got some holy basil, which is this is the dish, this is the whole thing that makes the dish lovely.
Also known as Thai basil.
Also known as Thai basil.
And where would people get that from?
Well, you can buy it now. It's the Thai basil. You can buy it in Sainsbury's, you can buy it in Tesco's, you can buy it in all sorts of places now. It's really over the last 6 months. You've really started to be able to buy holy and Thai basil, and the reason why this is different from regular Mediterranean kind of Italian basil is that it's got a very pungent aniseedy flavour. And you might be thinking, whoa, why would I want to put aniseed in food? Trust me, it works. It works amazingly.
It's very distinctive, isn't it?
And
what else?
So, fish sauce, oyster sauce, soy sauce. Rice white vinegar. Don't know why I put that there. It's for a different dish. We're going to use about 2 tablespoons of each one. However, I do it to taste, but you know, I've been working in the kitchen for 20 years, so I can do it to taste. But as a guiding rule, 2 tablespoons, generous tablespoons of each one in your dish. Then, if you taste it, this is what my spoon's are for, in a glass of water. That's a typical chefy thing to do. My spoon's in my glass of water. Then taste it, and you may think that it might need a bit more salt, and if it needs a bit more salt, you put some soy sauce in, or some fish sauce. But we're going to start now. Should we start?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So,
let's go.
Let me show you first of all how to chop things really fast and to get. So with the banana shallots, this is so cool. Leave the root on when you're chopping the banana shallot. And what you want to do is you want to make incisions along the length of the banana shallot, like so. So it's like a comb.
I can't see.
Can't you see?
No, because you put your hand in front.
Right. And well, I'll show you again in a second. So when you chop it, the natural grain of the onion will chop it for you. You don't have to do any more chopping than that. Let's do another one, just so you've got it. Okay, so we get the banana shallot out. I'm taking the wok off the stove because it's reaching temperature. Do you want to come in and see if I can get this without burning my arm off? Right. I'll slow it right down. There's many layers of a shallot, just like there is an onion. So when you cut down and then you cut across, it's naturally diced already. It's already diced, so that saves a lot of chopping on your chopping board.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
you got it?
Is that all the shallot now?
I'm going to take a look at that. I reckon
a bit more?
half a more shallot.
Okay.
Right, here we go. that's done. So, the first stage of our Pad Krapow is shallots in the pan.
Okay, so you've got oil in there.
So I've got a little splash. I mean, this is Thai food. I put a little bit of olive oil in there because that's what I cook with. It's a personal preference.
But people could use other oil then, like vegetable oil?
Vegetable
Or
oil would work just as well. In fact, you know,
better?
you could say it probably worked better. Wouldn't leave a flavour of olive oil in there. I use olive oil. Right, so they're on the go now. So, in with the red chillies and the minced garlic, and we're going to cook them down for a couple of minutes, just so it breaks down the structure. And I've left the seeds in this. I tasted the chillies before I chopped them up. They wasn't that spicy. I mean, I do like a little bit of spice, and generally when I've chopped a chilli up, what I'll do before I put the addition of chillies in is just taste a little bit on the tip of my tongue, just to see what the kind of ferocity of that chilli is.
Okay, so people can adjust this.
People can adjust this. So if they've got, sometimes you never know. You can get a pack of chillies, they look really innocuous, and you think, oh, this is, I'll put 20 of those in, and then you realise, no, they're powerhouses. So
what do you suggest then for people so they know how to judge it?
So what I'd say, I put 2 chillies in this because they wasn't very powerful. Just taste a little bit on your lip. If they don't taste too bad, put 2 in. If they taste hot, just put the 1 in. If you like spicy food, just continue and put 2 in.
Remember as well that they're going to be mixed up with the other ingredients, yeah, which will dilute it a bit.
Yep.
Okay.
Right,
so what's going on now?
500 grams of lean minced pork, and that's going in now. It's going to take a couple of minutes to cook down. While that's cooking down, I will tell you that.
How did you discover this recipe?
How did I discover this recipe? So, I say we, the producer, cameraman, and we're going off to Thailand around Christmas time, and we started watching stuff about Thailand and how wonderful the culture is in the food. And there's been a few creators that we've been watching that we've really enjoyed watching, no?
Yeah.
And one of the guys, all he eats is Pad Krapow. Pad Krapow.
Well, not all he eats.
No, it's not all he eats.
Well, Pad Krapow's a like really popular dish in Thailand, isn't it? It's kind of like a go-to.
I wouldn't say it's pie and mash of the Thai world, but it's definitely a popular dish.
Yeah.
I think we should do pie and mash one day, actually, on the channel.
You think we should?
I don't know if I could do it justice. I mean, that's a bold claim, isn't it? Making pie and mash as good as, say, Goddard's or something, I don't know. Anyway, getting sidetracked with the pie and mash thing. So, get your nose in here quickly. You'll tell when your pork is being done because it goes from pink to that light browny colour.
Okay.
I've got the temperature full up on the stove.
Okay, so we've still got a bit to go.
Still got
Anyway,
a bit to
so
go.
we came across, we were looking at food, weren't we, and salivating over the food,
Right,
and we
that's
found Mark
amazing.
Wines.
Oh, how does Mark Wines go? Everything.
Oh.
Wow.
And then we came across
Paddy Doyle. There's this guy. He's a maniac. He's just crossing Thailand on this cool little moped called Dreamy, and he's checking out 77. He's travelling into 77 provinces.
all the provinces.
All the provinces in Thailand. I think actually he's holed up at the moment because Thailand's under lockdown. But yeah, he's going to 77 provinces, and if you're interested about Thailand, I'd definitely go and watch his channel because he's a really cool dude.
Yeah, it's just really enjoyable to watch. Thailand is so beautiful.
He's living the dream. The man is living that dream.
And we are finding out loads about it. But it's just really entertaining to watch as well.
Yeah.
So, Paddy, this Pad Krapow's for you. Good luck on the rest of your journey.
Right, so, coming to this. Now, the pork is cooked down. So we're going to put a couple of tablespoons of fish sauce in first of all. 1, 2.
So it seems like fish sauce is kind of like the soy sauce. Fish sauce and chili kind of sauces are what
1,
you might find
2.
on a Thai table, right? As opposed to soy.
I mean, fish sauce is There's 2 in there, so there was 2 of each one of those in there. I mean, it's really their bog staple. If you go into a Chinese kitchen, you will definitely see soy on the table. If you go into a Thai kitchen, you're definitely going to see fish sauce, because it's just their season. So what I've done is I've put those condiments inside now. I'm going to give it a little taste, because I just want to make sure it's coming on. And you can see there's a bit of sauce occurring down the bottom there. I'm going to taste it. Yes! That is lovely. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let that cook out for maybe about a minute. That will intensify the flavours, because as it cooks, all of this steam is evaporating and intensifying the flavours of the dish. That's exactly what we want. And I'm going to chop some holy basil to get ready.
When does the spring onions go in?
Spring onions go in the last moment.
Okay.
In fact, what I'll do is I'll chop them, because there's a little coup I want to teach you.
Okay.
So this is a spring onion, and this is the way it grows in the ground. This way, not this way, this way, and it will grow in the ground, so that the mud will come up to where my finger is, and this bit will point out. Although this is totally edible, this part in the ground is going to be devoid of light and oxygen. It's the most tender and it's the nicest part to eat. You know,
so it's going to have more flavour.
It's going to be more refined. So first of all, let's cut and take this off. What I said in my last recipe about controlling, if things get a little bit too fruity, let's say with the gas, just take it off for a second. We're going to take off all the ends of the spring onions.
Yeah.
Right, I've washed these already, by the way.
Okay.
Some of them might have a little bit of grit on them.
Okay.
And we'll do them in 2 bunches, so we do them in 2 lots. And you just hold them in your...
can you turn it around a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got that?
Yeah.
What we're going to do is we're going to just chop them down like that. So we want little circles.
So you're doing that to sort of the point where it would...
Yeah,
sort of the bit that would grow underground, exactly. And leaving the end. Because I'm never sure with spring onions, like what do I take off the outside bit of skin? Do I chop off the bulb? It might sound silly, and it's, you know, you've been cooking for so many years, it might be like really obvious to you. Yeah, but they're one of those vegetables that confuse me. So do you cut off the bulb? What do you do with the bulb at the end?
We're using the bulb at the end, because that's the fruity part.
Okay.
And we're going to get this on the go now, and then I'm going to stop with the part that grows above the ground.
Okay, so that's the spring onions. What about the basil?
Now the basil. So this has got little rubber bands on the end, so watch that doesn't end up in your food, because I can tell you from experience it's not pleasant. And we're going to roll this up in a kind of cigar shape.
So you're going to leave it on the stem?
On the stem, definitely. That's where all the flavour is. And there's a technical term called chiffonade, which means I'm going to...
What does that mean?
Very thin strips.
Just by rolling it and then cutting it?
Yeah, as thin as humanly possible. You might be looking at this and thinking, oh my God, look at the amount of basil he's going to put in that dish. Well, this isn't called Pad Krapow for nothing. Let me tell you. This is what makes the dish itself. It's an amazing flavour.
It's a very unique flavour. It's not a flavour that I've had anywhere else, actually.
So the last 2 components of the herbs are now chopped. I'm going to get this frying pan on the back for the quintessential egg that invariably sits on top of every Pad Krapow.
And how is that looking? That
is lovely.
Quite liquefied? Does it want to be liquefied?
This is all going to, within the next couple of seconds, this is all going to be lovely, and we're going to get, first of all, we're going to get the spring onions in. That gives the dish, I mean, because at the moment now you've got pork in there, and you have got nothing else much in the way of texture. So the spring onions just give it a nice kick of texture. Okay, now this is my favourite part. I don't know why I'm so childish like that. Look at that, there's so much basil going in there.
Now, sometimes people seem to chop it and sometimes people put it in whole.
Yes, well, this is the thing, right? Back in the day, classically trained chefs would go, oh no, don't chop the basil, you'll bruise it. Well, I mean, come on, we're going to put the basil inside 250-degree frying pan. Of course it's going to be bruised. And Thailand, the way they've been brought up making food is not the way that French classic chefs. So, look at that. Look at it. It's so good. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fry the egg for the top.
Okay.
That is so... I've got to taste it because I'm starving.
Are you leaving? You're going to leave that on the stove or?
No. Oh, right. So, I'm not going to leave it on the stove. I've got my frying pan there for the egg.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm going to do is plate up. So, we've got our Pad Krapow ready. We've got to get the egg in the frying pan, and this is some sticky rice that I had ready prepared. There are plenty of ways you can learn how to make sticky rice.
But it's different, isn't it, to how you might do basmati?
It's different to jasmine, it's different to how you would do basmati rice.
So how would you do it?
So generally what would happen is that you would put it in the fridge in some water, you'd soak it for about 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would wrap it in a muslin cloth and put it in a steamer and steam it for exactly 20 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Now what we're going to do is we're going to get the egg on the go. Now this is not like a European egg. This is going to be really, really...
Thai style egg.
Yeah, this is a Thai style egg.
So what's a Thai style egg?
Really, really bubbly, straight off the bat.
Lots of oil.
Lots of oil going in there. And it will get crispy straight away.
Crispy bottomed.
Crispy bottomed egg straight away. And this is so you can... Whoa, look at that. It's already going crispy. Look at that. God, I'm good. Here we go. Right, so now we're going to plate up with the Pad Krapow. And the crispy egg.
Still cooking.
Still cooking.
You need a bit longer?
No, that is perfect. It goes across the top like that. All crispy on the bottom of the egg. That's exactly how it should be.
And the yolk, is it runny? Is it set?
The yolk is runny. If I cut into the yolk, you'll see that the yolk is still ready to be runny. Look at that. So nice. And now, I think really that's the end of the clip because I'm quite hungry. I could do with some Pad Krapow now.
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit.
Go.
I really can't wait to tuck into this, but I finished early and I always forget to say at the end, please, if you found any good, if you've enjoyed this, do a like on the thumb down. I think I should go down below. Do a like, and if you want to get involved in any way, if there's some recipe that you really want for me to cook, I will do it right here on this very stove. So do a like, do a subscribe, and subscribe is even better. And
leave a comment.
And a comment, definitely. Leave a comment.
Or any questions about Pad Krapow.
Mm-hmm. Do it. I'm
do it.
Now. Bye. Bon
See ya.
appetit, Bosch.